Radiant team pick.
Good morning, good evening, you are in the world. Welcome. ESL One Manila Southeast Asian qualifiers are here. We're through to the qualifiers in the draft of MVP Phoenix, like WarriorsGaming.Unity. And this is the best of three between the teams.
Turn to
And I'm welcoming my co-caster. He finally in. Yeah, we're looking like we're going to start on time, but we're 15 minutes late. But we've finally loaded in the game. How are you doing?
I speak for the trees.
Hey, Derek.
Phantom Lancer.
It's kind of like
Radiant
Sky problem.
team pick.
Like, I would have loved this 2 times, but
Actually, it eventually works. Once in a blue moon. Right. MVP Phoenix, of course, these guys, they just come off the back of the win. Don't pushing people in the grand finals 3-0. So coming through to the Southeast Asian qualifiers, you know, everyone's expecting to breeze through it. They're just expecting to go through the finals.
10
Maybe
seconds
finals will
remaining.
have a few no Fnatic. Trust for whoever
5
actually gets
seconds
that one.
remaining.
Warriors, relatively unknown to myself, relatively kind of new looking squads
Radiant
I've
team
actually
back.
seen. I've cast a lot of stuff of a lot of South America's Nana. AS is actually on their roster, but I don't think he's being with them right here, right now. But let's see what they have in store. The draft is looking good.
10
But
seconds
bounty up.
remaining.
He's not going to get his hand on that one, and not allowing Noob to get his Earth.
5 seconds
The
remaining.
researchers, they know what they're dealing up against, but MVP Phoenix take up,
Reserve time.
and Phantom Lancer with MVP safe as well, Kibo mid. What do you think about the Invoker Venge opening too?
I think it's definitely you can't really say anything bad about Invoker picks. It's one of the go-to mid heroes, and it's still great. It's just one of the top mid heroes right now.
Phoenix's turn to ban.
As for Venge, I think it might be a deny. Seeing how Phoenix,
Radiant
when they
team
pick
ban.
LS, they've coupled with a lot. So really good. It's like your Invoker is going to have really high net worth almost every game, but he
10
can
seconds
still get
remaining.
caught. Like let's say Phoenix, like
5 seconds remaining.
well, I was gonna say Beastmaster for example, and you put down late game and your Invoker is 20k net worth. You take the time to just die, right? So Engine Invoker together is pretty nice. These two, good at pushing down towers. They're good at doing road shift. To use the
10 seconds
opener
remaining.
fire.
And they go to MVP, of course, with the
5
Nature's
seconds
Prophet offering
remaining.
Beastmaster. Run him in the jungle, but run team that's
Reserve
like,
time.
jungle Beastmaster. I've not seen it from. They are definitely lacking lockdown, and that's what we're kind of aiming towards here. Is we need some guaranteed stuns, disabled, and definitely damage to try and deal with.
To pick.
It's a kind of towers, like mentioning, minus armor and objective taking, the vengeful spirit and invoker are capable of. It needs to handle that, and that might be if this is Kuro mid, something along those lines. Just one, there's no wisp ban, and that an MVP you really do love a lot. Usually with the bristle deck, of course, the bristle player, but there's a couple of tables out from the lion. We're going to have the lovely lion, the Earth Spike Hex, going to provide a lot of support, a lot of their tables for the game, and still is actually an Enchantress for Febby. He wants to play that roam role.
Yeah, I think the line can go either Febby or Dubu. They're pretty open-ended on their support. Now it's not like they pick up the spirit, for example, where Dubu's 99 play.
Phoenix's turn to pick.
Yeah, WG respond with the Dune pick. I'm not sure how I feel about it, mostly because Dune is not that fast nature. Come like Nature's Prophet can just type back in, and Nature's Prophet is not an ideal to target in the first place. It might be tricky to track that.
10 seconds remaining.
They have secured their AoE and Invoker, yeah.
5 seconds remaining.
Nuke the and isolate real one
Reserve time.
situation.
Maybe pick for them. The Oracle Dusk. This is why here as well. Good. Core rules, but it's going to be the Bane actually.
Radiant team pick.
Yeah, got two sides of the table. These are for you. You can both rotate, they can static, they can stack. They aren't really, shoehorned or pinholed one role where kind of have to do this and go through rhythm to Z. You can like slot into multiple different roles for themselves. Well, see, that's going to be a Doom,
Phoenix's turn
or
to
a
ban.
Doom 4 that looks with the Vengeful Spirit as the high, and maybe a Doom with a Doom. You know, Doom roaming around, he kind of made it popular with his triangles and buckler builds at Dota Pit, as well as over at the Shanghai.
10 seconds remaining.
How do you envision that
5
kind of Doom
seconds
support
remaining.
out here up against the Lion and Bane?
Reserve time.
I think this year pick, I hope you realize that there's a high chance, given the recent games from NP, that Yellow is going to be. So this starts here might have like where it's completely or the Bane is a get with the right. Next year can even year to lead
Radiant
XP,
team ban.
and not sure that like up the gyro that you earlier. Then a gyro lane is something that Darkseer can't do. That is a jungle and as a 4 position, then you have 2 jungling
10 seconds remaining.
people who are really contributing much.
5
So
seconds
that's a
remaining.
concern I have for Warriors Gaming right now. And
Reserve
they
time.
still don't have a great combo with which is why I'm kind of not a fan of the Darkseer pick yet. You can vacuum, but to these rookie poker, he gets to like kill them all. Like
Phoenix's
he,
turn to
it's
pick.
best from poker. You only have 2 spells in both. You can't make these combo into something.
Or fun.
Phoenix, I think they're lane by the way because they had second pick, meaning they had to reveal their first. So they had their hero instead of 3 heroes. But I don't carry.
Okay.
10
That
seconds
makes sense.
remaining.
I mean, with the Lion and Bane, it was like the one that kind
5
of screamed
seconds
to you.
remaining.
Lycan would be too bad. Pretty good as the Dark Lane, good as with low up.
Radiant team pick.
The pick. That good damage, good heal and sustain, pushing through that healing mod, keeping them alive on these tier 1, tier 2, but also Blade Fury. It's kind of the route as the Jericho Rocket Blood. You've got the Nightmare, you've got the Pale and Hex, and you've got the dish from that Blade Fury just pulled down. While Warriors give me a pick. Now, one cat, you've got 2 melee hero in the Dark, and
10
Vengeful
seconds
Spirit
remaining.
are also more likely than
5
big
seconds
areas.
remaining.
Invoke really have a mechanism. There's no here to TP it, rain like a dazzle. There's no
Reserve
one to
time.
in like a shock that's kind of. I can't. Or I think they need an active hero. Yeah, and Jarka would have themselves the gyro and maybe just try and fight.
Yeah, I think MVP Phoenix, their lineup is pretty straightforward. They have these 5 heroes that are just going to go around for kills, basically. PM, surprisingly, very aggressive, annoying to deal with this early on. Heroes will have kill potential. Like, PL might not be able to find kill, but that's what he has. Nature's Rocket Lion and to help with the lockdown department. We're gaming because I haven't to watch every game or none
10
to be
seconds
honest.
remaining.
I'm not quite sure what they want to do with their lineup.
5 seconds remaining.
When they have a Doom and Arts here, I feel like I want to go late, but then like, even if you go, would you actually go with this?
We'll see. Well, head to their final pick. Slot combos up the Dark City shell, you can get him running around into these team fight after targets at the back end of things. The laning stage is going to be the difficulty here for Warriors Gaming. I don't know, look at Zach, Control Spirit, Arfu, Ducks, Jet, the Spark. He feels no here, he forever and Nature's Prophet. He'll juggle well, Feb, Bane, Dubu, Handle, love Iron is. And I think,
10 seconds
like you said, it's
remaining.
relatively straight action, but also relatively straight laning for MP
5
Phoenix.
seconds
But
remaining.
I think the only thing maybe they did is they could potentially look towards the aggro tri lane. But we've got Darks to do. You don't put Nature's Prophet yet. He's
Prepare
gonna
for battle.
bot lane the Slock and this Battle Spirit. So let's get things off, shall we? Aim himself out down this mid lane and ready. Scout out.
Oh. Oh no. Yeah.
Just gonna punch Doom for a little bit. They're both no one should level up just yet. Febby up her away, and you're saying there's no sense. Yeah, that's a little unfortunate. Doom boots first when with the stab shield to actually get rid of that board. And the way that Febby walked up, you know, come across the move in, but they don't know where the wall. So
30
in
seconds
this area,
to battle.
he's up on the high ground, he played it over here. Because when there's a Doom on the field, you're looking for the rotations. He loves to go to this off lane, grab himself a creep, and jump himself back towards the safe lane. So things that this Doombringer loves to try and get himself across the map for. But so far, let's see the regular old rune trade-off it looks like. Invoker should be able to take the top rune spot. While down at bottom, will be Kyo getting his own bounty rune down there. To Observe Ward, already watching out for Nature's Prophet Forever. Is he going to try and stack this wave? Is he going to try and drag it across? The Treants will move themselves south. Looks like he's going to try something. Sure exactly
I think
which
this.
move.
Yeah, this lane is going to be pretty easy for Forever potentially if there's no rotations, and he has a pretty deep ward that if unscouted, he's going to be aware of the Doom rotations. And Slark Venge, these are some really short-range heroes. And Nature's Prophet is gonna, the way he plays, he's gonna love like smacking Slark every like 2 seconds basically. His superior movement speed.
Speaking of smacking, this Invoker is taking a bit of a pounding towards the mid. Febby, he's just sitting on this Invoker a little bit and punching him down. Nana already down to half HP, but got his first Force Spirit out. Febby just keeps going back in with its Brain Sap, and Invoker with, you know, the limited regen he's got, definitely not enjoying this. While up at top lane, Ubu and MP putting the pressure onto Wen's Darks here. And it's just rough times all around here for Warriors Gaming, as every single lane looks pretty rough, honestly. And Forever, you're right, he's going to get himself plenty of last hits, tons of experience. Shouldn't have too many issues on this bottom lane with his Treants already harassing out the Slark and kind of forcing Zaki's Vengeful Spirit to look for a stack or a pull. Not the easiest proposition, it's not the simplest thing to do. We'll drag this lane across and maybe grab the range creep as well. Forever, where's the Treant going? Oh, he doesn't get it across fast enough to actually disrupt it. We're going to be fine for him. As this Doombringer, sure enough, he's got the Sata Shockwave so far, but oh man, Arfu, some work to do. He's picked himself up some obs and sentries. Really try and de-ward up on this high ground to get rid of the Bane's vision, but he finally forced back out of this mid lane as Nana. He's saying, get the hell out of here. This is where I want to try and get some last hits. This is the situation you were talking about, right? You've got the Darks here trying to like semi-jungle and stack and stuff. He's moved towards mid. The Doom has come out of the jungle. So you've got two heroes not being efficient at all.
Yeah, I mean, this is not the reason you pick Darks here. You pick Darks here because you want to tie down, ideally, up to 3 people in this enemy safe lane. And then, right now, it wasn't even a tri-lane, it's just a dual lane, right? The Juggernaut and Lion. So, for Darkseer to leave the lane so early is gonna be a big
Duo's dead though.
Mid.
Very fire. Oh, he keeps himself alive and style through as well, but Scorched Earth and damage from Alfu's come through, and down goes QO. They finally get him with some good Sunstrike Cold Snap action, and the Doom's rotation actually pays off this time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's a lot of pressure on Doom to make this game work for Warriors Gaming, but it's one of those things. I noticed that it's Afu playing it, right? He's the captain right now. He designed the draft, and I'm sure he's the most aware of like, he can't just farming. He gonna find a way for this lineup to work despite the weaknesses. He's gonna overcome it, and I was gonna say these kind of plays are necessary. You can't. The Darkseer isn't capable of helping out pretty much. So the Doom needs to step up like this, and the job well done by him. And I just have to mention that our audio is magically very good right now.
Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it. Okay,
I
well,
mean, it's just so nice,
next-
you know, when you start hearing
So-
clearly. It's like you're deaf, and then now you can hear.
so what time is it now? It's 11:30. Okay, so it takes what? 50 minutes? Takes like 45 minutes for Skype to level itself out. Okay, so tomorrow when we're
exactly.
casting together, I'll come in an hour early. We'll set up the Skype call and we'll just let it sit for an hour and sort itself out, and then hopefully
Alright.
it'll be fine. Oh dearie me. Well, good stuff. We're all set now. So first blood goes the way of Warriors Gaming as they get themselves up on the board, 1-0. But still, this Phantom Lancer. 13 and 8 up against the Invokers 12 and 4. Nana has actually done a pretty good job at getting himself back into this lane. Juggernaut is an absolute beast up on top though. MP, pretty much perfect last hits even up against his Darkseer. And he's spinning away to Vix against his Iron Shell creeps. Difficult as a Darkseer to apply even a tiny amount of pressure onto the Jug. Well, bottom lane, we've already seen the salves and regen just being burnt through by this Slark. Once he does hit that level 6, it'll kind of alleviate the pressure from him, but bo3 is doing such an amazing job down here. Really setting the tempo of this lane. You know, there's been no kill attempt. He's kept himself out of arm's reach of that Vengeful Spirit, plus power combination they've got. But it's mid lane again, where QO start things off with Nana with a Lance, and then Febby comes through with the Brain Sap. And they're going to have to try and bail on this one as the TP does come through from the Vengeful Spirit, as well as the Doom, who's ready and available to come in as well. Warriors Gaming, great reactions to turn things around, and MVP, he's saying they're active and looking for kills, but Radiant side, they're ready for them.
Yeah, I think they realized that the side lanes can't be helped right now. Okay, the Darkseer versus Lion Juggernaut, it's not the easiest lane, but he has to do what he can. It's just his duty. This bottom lane might be unsalvageable, like the Slark and Venge. The reason this lane is hard is because look at Nature's Prophet. You can't really get near him. You have like Treants blocking you, and he has like 400 something movement speed with phase boots. So it's all about your mid. Right now, the Invoker has to not have a bad game. Over at top, Afu with the holy crap.
Oh, Dubu Fairy fires through, but the Scorched Earth Iron Shell should be able to secure the kill. Even the bo3 TP's in with a Sprout onto the Doom. When it comes to anything, it looks like Warriors Gaming, they want to dive a little bit more. Sunstrike is coming through, but bo3 will juke himself around the tower. Now the spin comes through from MP, the vacuum, not on the money, but another Fairy Fire, another Sprout again, and bo3 keeps himself alive. But these little
the
Doom shards cancel the TP, and Nature's Prophet's going to be a little bit upset with the way things went up there. And they still get themselves a kill on the Doom, a 1-for-1 trade-off for the Lion. This does bring things away from the mid lane where, you know, QO, he's probably a little bit pissed off with how much emphasis this Radiant team is putting on the mid. Yeah, back to the Nature's Prophet, like, in movement speed and his positioning, they're all great, but just like looking at his damage, 94 damage against the Slark, against the Vengeful Spirit, they're sitting on, you know, 700 HP. That's like 8 hits and they're pretty much dead.
Yeah, there was a moment earlier where bo3 had 4 Treants, and he started just charging at the Venge and Slark, and both of them started just backing out. That's how, at that stage in the game, Treants do way too much damage, and Nature's Prophet can actually probably man-fight the Slark. Maybe not the Venge, but it's kind of not worth it for Warriors Gaming to take a risk, especially in a safe lane where you want the Slark to hit level 6 smooth sailing. You don't want him to die in between, have to buy useless items.
He's gone for the poor man's shield, bring of Aquila, trying to get these little bits of stats up and running. Well, top lane, what's the Juggernaut actually building into? MP has face boots and drums are nearly done, so he's actually gone for the kind of incremental build up. slowly but surely not rushing into that battle fury, not going for the ring of Aquila either. Oh, Nana. Farm through the jungle a tiny amount. Get into that Midas a little bit faster. 7.5 minutes in. He'd love to have it now. Obviously, amazing of starts for him. He does have 1 kill, 1 assist, and a fair amount of last hits. But, a fair distance away from that. But over an MVP, gonna get an observable down here as Warriors Gaming keep their vision up and running and make sure they know exactly where Dubu and Febby are. They're looking for the
Nature's
Nightmare
Prophet.
onto this Doom. Nature's Prophet down at bottom lane. He's going to TP himself actually up onto the Doom, and there's the Nightmare to start things off. Hero and Dubu both coming in. There should be a kill. The Scorched Earth will actually end now, and Arfu is in a ton of trouble. Dubu will clear him up with the help of Phantom Lance's illusions, and even these little shardlings. That's a nice bit of extra gold there for them.
Yeah, that's okay though. Space created. They spent a good time chasing the Doom with practically 4 heroes. They get the follow-up top tower, but they were gonna get it regardless if they can kill.
Nana in trouble. In fact, he's in his grave. There's Nature's Wrath and Kiro's double lance there. Easy pickings as they take him. They take the tier 1 top. And Warriors Gaming not really getting anything in exchange. You know, it's 3-3 currently as the kill score. But you've got to look at this look at the levels, look at the farm. Everything is going the way of MVP right now. Forever. That takes the Nightmare off the Doom.
Yeah, I think just naturally Warriors Gaming, their lineup takes some time to come online. Like Darkseer ideally wants the mech, Doom at least level 6, and even with level 6 he might need some more items because casting Doom and then dying right away is not the scenario you want. You want to cast Doom and be able to chase people. Oh, Wafu, careful.
Routed up here and actually jumping onto Zaki in the back. All of these PL illusions throw the laps forward. The Forge Spirits are here, and Zaki dropping low, but he's not going to die just yet. The Bane does sleep up Unity, and it's actually taken off by one of the Forge Spirits. QO, Sunstrike, no doppelganger. He dodges across from the side, and QO, he's not going to get himself away from this one. Swiped down by the Doombringer. They dive a little too far.
Yeah, doppelganger in like half a second. A bit too aggressive, I guess, from MVP Phoenix. I don't really blame them though. The Doom wasn't even level 6. They could have taken the fight if the execution was better. Maybe the Nature's Prophet didn't. Yeah, he didn't have too much mana, so he didn't feel comfortable teleporting in.
Oh, I keep swapping back this Nightmare every single time Febby wants to try and initiate. Taken off by these Forge Spirits.
The Venge and Doom smoke up here, which is yeah, they're gonna loop around. That's not a very standard place to smoke as Radiant. They're gonna loop around and try to find MP. Yeah, they have him completely surrounded. He has to TP out now or
it's been
it's too late.
Oh, there's a Doom though. He's actually been caught. MP, you're right. He's just gonna get shredded here by the rest of Warriors Gaming, and they get themselves another good kill.
Or MP. I think he had his drums. Yeah, he's a big fan of drums. So am I. Movement speed in general is really nice. Especially on a hero like Juggernaut versus a hero like Doom and Slark. You can outrun them. But with the healing ward.
Got the phase drums onto Forever as well. Didn't opt for the Midas or anything like that. What do you reckon? Go into the Orchid next?
I don't think Orchid is the best item this game. Because eventually Darkseer will have the Guardian Greaves, and then Orchid, it generally means you want to just down someone. But against the Slark, they have to deal with the fact that they have a Vengeful.
QO. This is ballsy. Scorched Earth is up from Arfu, and he's thinking about turning around and fighting this one. Healing up pretty nicely through it, but the Sprout down onto Arjit will catch him. Quelling Blade out of that one. 12-minute Midas comes through for the Invoker. But I don't know, the double TP in, Forever and QO both wanted to try and battle towards mid. Not happening just yet, and Warriors Gaming, they're making a good run of this actually. Doom, he's sitting at 3k net worth, he's got his buckler, he's gone for the puppy build for all of that lovely juicy armor, and You know, Warriors Gaming, they can split push relatively effectively. With this smoke up from MVP heading down towards the south, though, they really need to make this work. If RJ gets caught here, the Slark, he doesn't have a pounce.
He
He's
doesn't
just
have
going to
mana.
get
He doesn't
slashed.
have mana.
Is
Yeah.
under attack.
He could Dark Pact, but that was just about it. He even switched to Int Treads to try and get the pounce away. Wasn't happening. But the rest of his team, you know, you've got Mech on Darkseid, you've got Midas Invoker, the Doom with the Buckler. They're not lacking these key items.
Yeah, they should be about ready to fight soon. The Slark, one thing we have to be fair about is that Juggernaut is kind of a much easier time contributing to the team early on. Slark kind of, ideally he wants like level 10, so you have like the good Dark Pact damage, as well as the low cooldown pounce. And we're gonna see this attempt by Warriors Gaming. I think they might be just in time to be really annoying the Roche.
We're going to try and get the Doom off. They do onto MP, but he's already spinning away from this one. Invoker killed off the line in the back end. Bevy being slowed down and burnt out by that Infernal Blade. The rest of MVP, they're being absolutely smothered here by Warriors Gaming as the wall is dropped. And MVP, they've been chased out of the roast pit. Zaki stuns up one. He's going to get taken out by Q at long last. The doppelganger up to the high ground. He gets himself away, but the rest of Warriors Gaming back into the roast pit to steal it away from MVP. 4M, TP didn't snatches it. Nature's Prophet. 4M, absolutely godlike play into the pit. He goes, doesn't kill it off, but he'll lose his life again for this one. Oh dear lord, the way that fight continued, they want to keep it going as well. Zubu's back to land of the league, takes out Unity, there we go. Arfu's gone, knocking up 104, gets the PL out of dodge, but MP, he's losing his life so quickly. The force spreads, right click him down, but the healing ward keeps MP alive. QO with the Juggernaut and Phantom Lancer. MVP, what the hell is happening? The stun! Doom sharding again, cancels the TP! MV, he's going to try to sprint himself away from this. The pounce will miss, but QO chased out. Arjit once the right clicks in, and the Dark Pact should be able to finish this one off. QO just needs to try and duke and jive, but he's not escaping from the fishy mouth of Arjit on Warriors Gaming. MP at the very least will escape from that, but that was such an absolute clusterfuck. Sunstrike, hang on.
Oh
nearly.
My God, that was actually so close.
Good attempt.
Yeah, good attempt for sure. Really impressed by Warriors Gaming's like they knew that they had to contest Roche, or they somehow knew MVP were Roshing, and they didn't back down. And when they fought like they actually meant that. Sometimes teams get kind of cold feet. When you're near the Roche pit, some people might be thinking, oh my god, like this might be a game-losing moment, and they don't go full out. But Warriors Gaming, they're fighting like there was no tomorrow. Unfortunate that the Aegis was stolen. I swear, it's almost like the game is coded so that when multiple players are going for the Aegis, the team that didn't get the last hit have like a higher chance to pick up the Aegis. It just feels that way. I think Warriors Gaming, they were just completely dumbfounded that the Nature's Prophet was teleporting in like that.
Because you expect him to cancel, right? You're like, he's faking it. He's just gonna cancel. He's baiting out. But before I've completed and
Another smoke. Oh, it breaks at a very awkward position.
It does. They maybe we're gonna look for that Doombringer, but they don't get it. Now MVP, they're actually no longer at the top of the net worth board here. Slark and Invoker leapfrogging over the rest of them. Blink on Slark, Invoker now with the Midas drums, treads. And MVP, they've got some work to do. It's not so easy sailing as maybe it looked in the draft and the laning stage here. MP's trying to build back into the Battle Fury. Febby has his Ether Lens, and Dubu, he up to Tranquil Boots. That's all he's got. Warriors Gaming, they've got some pretty good team fight capabilities here with the Darks, getting Arcane's mech, Greaves that you were mentioning earlier on, very close. And Forever is building into that Orchid.
Yeah. I don't think it's the worst choice. I think, given the lineup, it wasn't the most intuitive. It's not like oh, this is a no-brainer Orchid game. It may prove to be useful against Slark's split pushing. I was talking about how the Venge might counter the Orchid, but that's only if the Venge is ready. Yeah, I think the smoke attempt has been spotted out. One thing I needed to mention was that MVP Phoenix have really good wards right now. It's like really deep wards, so that Warriors Gaming are gonna have a hard time leaving their base undetected before they clear these wards out. They're gonna quickly realize that this smoke has failed.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's structures
I'm actually
are
surprised to see that they're just committing to this. And MVP.
Dire's
Yeah.
bottom tower
Are you going to complete this? QO. He comes into the tier 1. They don't get the deny. They swap back onto MP into the Doom as well. Stunned up MP. That healing ward is taken out and he's just ripped to shreds. MVP. Like they wanted to try and defend this, but they're just losing hero after hero. QO reads out with his haste and looks like he's okay for now.
Did you see the two supports try to loop around through the bottom room?
The Bane and the Lion. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Dire's structures are fortified.
I was talking about like, okay, Warriors Gaming started hitting the tower, and then Phoenix. At first, I was gonna say I'm surprised that they're not gonna defend this,
Dire's
right?
bottom tower has
But
fallen.
they were trying to defend it in their own way. It's just the timing was way off when you try to loop around it like that. It's first of all it's super risky, and then it's just such a long distance to go around through the Radiant jungle with those two supports that are super easy to kill. Like had there been someone else other than the Slark there. So
Smoke time for MVP. And they're going to try and
Yeah.
go through the Radiant jungle again. They know that Doom and Venge are here, and they're going to walk themselves up to the high ground. Start things off with Dubu hexing Zaki. They want to try and stun the Doom as well, and they'll catch him, sprout through as well. And with the Omni Slash onto Arfu, they clear him up. They want to try and get the Vengeful Spirit. With the TP out, Zaki might be able to complete this one, but the Fiend's Grip is there from Febby. They get the two heroes they wanted from the smoke. But they aren't the two ideal heroes in the overall reach of this game, you know? The Invoker, the Orchid Forever has actually found him with the ward up on the high ground. They're going to see Nana, and he's not going to be able to get himself away from this, as Febby clears him up with a Brain Stat. They get 3 for the price of 1 smoke. These Observer wards are definitely paying dividends here for MVP Phoenix.
yeah, definitely. I haven't seen enough attempt from Warriors Gaming that they're trying to get rid of these wards. I think any team that's been watching a lot of MVP Phoenix lately, they should be aware that these wards are the basis for their aggression. They can't just play, they can't play dice. They can't just be like, oh, let's flip the coin, and if like it's above 3, we'll go top. If it's not, then we'll go bottom. It's they're making moves based on information, and then you have to get rid of that information so that they're not just running all over you. And yeah, they should get the feeling that Phoenix, they're not just making these plays at random. They have some idea of who's where and which spots are vulnerable on the map.
Well, the Diffusal Blade up now onto QO. He's got his VOTs, Diffusal. He's farmed himself reasonably well. But he's still dealing with this Invoker and Slark with 3,200 gold onto Nana. You're looking at an Aghanim Scepter. About 1,000 gold. He's definitely not far away from it. As well as Arjit heading into the Manta style, it looks like. Trying to get himself out of this Orchid. Forever's throwing down onto multiple people. And Forever going back for the Aghanim's Octarine build, it looks like here, just to maybe apply a little more pressure onto this map and force Warriors Gaming split themselves across and deal with this pushing in onto these tier 2s. MVP grouping up as 5 down into the Radiant jungle, realizing that up at top, Warriors Gaming, they're all ready to set up to battle
is under attack.
for the tier 2 trade-offs.
Yeah, I think this is good for Warriors Gaming though. They definitely don't want to. Whenever your jungle has been compromised in terms of like the opponent's been there and there's probably wards all somewhere, at least in 1 or 2 places. It's until you buy a gem. It's like that's like playing battleships. You can't really know for sure where the wards are. So they're taking. If they're gonna take a fight, they're gonna take it in the dire jungle. That's something that we often see. This picture where teams swap jungles basically, because ironically you have better information on the other. Like the opponent's jungle is less likely to be warded. You wanna at every edge you can get.
Oh, right now, this Slark is pretty far pushed up on this lane, and he realizes he's going to pounce himself back, even with the heroes behind him. Don't want to overextend too much. Oh, Warriors Gaming, their Dark Sith picked up a Blink Dagger. Gold in the bank, he can go back for Greaves as well if he wants to. Got so many items utilized here with a Vlad's on Doom on top of all of this. They're going to smoke up and play aggressively into the enemy's half of the map. But MVP, they're all set up for this. Febby, Shadow Amulet, looking towards the Glimmer Capes. He's going to be able to make himself invis and position somewhere. Maybe reveal and pop this smoke, but it's actually Roshan Warriors Gaming are looking for. I want to try and find a pickup towards the Ancient. Zaki's smoke gets popped, and there's the two-man Earthspike. He'll jump off to Febby, but I don't think they've got any reveal. He'll turn himself around. There's the Deafening Blast meter. Kuro throws out a lamp onto Nana. Shadow Dance is popped by Argent Slark, and this is where the rest of MVP wants to get into the middle of the fight. QO is zoomed up, and the Finger of Death back onto Arfu. The mech heals him up, and the Doombringer's not dead just yet. The swap, QO is sent back into the battle, but Zaki trapped in the Sprout, and QO is stuck. But it's going to be a one-for-one, support for support. But MVP, they've still got the sustain. They've got the damage output they need to keep on going and pushing forward. With Nana and Arfu, the TP forward from Forever. Can they stop this? Can they cancel the TP? They cannot. Try and find anyone else on the retreat from this battle. Warriors Gaming, they do well there to not lose anyone else.
I think the winner of this fight is MVP though. Oh, Slar got cut out here.
Oh.
Yeah, Beans Grip.
Beans Grip, Orchid. There's the damage output. I mean, he's got no stick charges, so there's no way of escaping this. That's definitely an MVP win because they take
now
down.
It's like, yeah, even more sure that MVP win.
And then Roshan on top of all of it. It's like, yeah, definitely. Sunstrike, MP, makes damn sure he's not going to get caught off guard by that one. Post Battle Fury with a healing ward. QO comes in. Should be able to do a decent amount of damage and fill the vacuum wall. MP is trapped up on the cliff with a good two-man stun. Nana, as well as Arfu, the Deafening Blast is back, and the Nightmare back onto the Evoker. Arfu, Deafening Blast with a Meteor as well. Over the top of the wall, but he's gone into Ghost Walk. He's invis and hiding. The Sentry Ward will try and catch him. He's blade closes down, and Nana, he's going through the ice wall, but he's stunned up. He's taken out. There's nothing left here for Unity. Warriors Gaming. They've got to try and retreat. There's two fights happening actually with Zaki burned through all of his mana. Vengeful Spirit's gone, and they have the Nightmare and Body Blocks here. Catching the Doom, but he'll TP to safety. And this allows MVP to get back into the Roche pit, but it's a buyback from Invoker. The Slark is up and running as well. They want to contest this. They want to get back into it, but MVP say, you know what? Screw it. You've bought back. You've wasted your money. We'll just retreat and dial things down a bit. Reset the tempo. Not allow you to get anything out of that buyback.
Yeah, that was a good discipline by MVP to, you know, at first I was like, really, buyback? I guess like the old me and the old Phoenix would have been like, yeah, whatever, come at me, bro, and we would have fought. I think the now MVP, they're more disciplined about whenever there's a buyback, they respect it, and they're gonna take a deep breath. It doesn't mean they're not gonna, you know, continue with the Roche, but just a little while after they assess the situation. And they're definitely not going to let Warriors Gaming have this Roche. It's theirs to begin with.
Who's drawing on the map saying, you know, if they're going to five-man group up around this Roshan, we're going to fully exploit and abuse the map control that we can gain from this. As Forev shoves in mid, throws out his Nature's Wrath. Top lane is pushing pretty aggressively as well as Roshan. I mean, Warriors Gaming, they're in here. They're in the pit trying to take down the big man. Also, semi-baiting this because Arjit's not doing anything. QO come back into Doom, so they've caught him, and he's just shredded! He's taken out, the vacuum will back MVP. They've lost two already, and MP cannot join this one, so it might just as well be another Roche takeout here for the Radiant team. The question is, does Forever come in and steal this one?
I don't think so. Joker has Aghanim's right now, so he has like 1,000 ways to destroy for him if he wants to TP in. That was such a game-winning move there. The classic swap into, you know, usually it's a Hex, but Doom works just fine. I don't think Kyo was ready for that. Pretty nice. I'm really impressed by Warriors Gaming. I think I'm not the only one, but most people, they would agree that coming in, there was a lot of pressure on Warriors Gaming. I guess like on Phoenix, rather, that they were the favorites, and people were skeptical about whether Warriors Gaming would be able to give MVP a good fight, but so far, definitely. Oh, Jubu. Spotted out by the ward.
These wards are giving them so much information. I mean, the Sunstrike nearly hit onto MP as he was farming Ancients. They get the kill over.
Like
The Lion, Slark, has no mana. He does have a blink though and gets himself a little bit further away. Escapes out of it. With QO, they were looking desperately, scrambling for that kill. But yeah, I fully agree. We were looking at this game thinking, right, MVP. You know, maybe we're a little bit biased towards MVP after winning Dota Pit, but Warriors Gaming have done an amazing job. It's not been immaculate. It hasn't been the perfect game here from Warriors Gaming, but execution has been pretty damn good.
Before the Roche, I would have said that MVP Phoenix were slowly getting to that dangerous point where they're gonna be in their comfort zone. They're gonna feel like a deja vu. They've been in these situations so many times where they just feel like they own the map, right? But because of that play from the Venge and Doom, Warriors Gaming able to secure the Roche, and I think right now, whenever there's no Roche, a lot of the advantages of Fury and Nature's Prophet are kind of... It's still a good hero, but when Nature's Prophet is truly abusive is when there's a Roche. You push into the lanes, and it's like there's a ticking bomb for the other team, but not for you, because all you have to do is like not let them Roche. So right now, I think the game plan for MVP is not so clear-cut as it was before. Securing Roche on Dire with Nature's Prophet is supposed to be a very easy thing to do, but Warriors Gaming have made it all hell for them to do so.
So at this point as MVP, do you just try and wrestle map control away from Warriors Gaming, keep the Nature's Prophet pushing out these lanes and shoving them? Or do you want to try and fight? Because you've got this tri-core lineup for MVP, right? But you're dealing with a Doom, Invoker, and Slark with the Darkseer. You've got like anti-carries, you've got great ways of dealing with tri-core lineup. What does MVP do to try and bring themselves back into the...
Well, I think definitely right now, since Invoker has Aegis, they don't want to just run into a 5-on-5. They want to slowly out efficiency Warriors Gaming. They have the Nature's Prophet, which is still useful, just not as abusive when there's a Roche. They can make plays with the Nature's Prophet, Orchid, but I kind of doubt that Warriors Gaming are going to give that kind of angle so easily, because the only heroes that really need to be by themselves are the Slark, who has the Manta, and Invoker, who has the Aegis. So we might not be seeing much action for the next 3 to 4 minutes while the Aegis is still active.
This is a pretty important game for Warriors Gaming. MVP, of course, even though they did win Dota Pit, the tournament's coming up in the next 6 to 7 months. Thinking ahead to TI and stuff like that, getting themselves through to as many big LAN events and out of as many qualifiers as they possibly can is definitely gonna help their chances.
Yeah, I mean SCA, best region in Dota.
You can't Kappa now. You can't do that.
I tried to say it.
You just wanted to say Kappa. You just wanna trigger Twitch chat, don't you? We're gonna start spamming Kappas now. Keen Dota Kappa. Oh, Orev, after his Ags, Oreen is usually the go-to item for him. What he actually heads into though, because you can switch back into like a damage dealing build. You can think about going for like a Hex, something along those lines, or your AC, your Desolator, your DPS items out from him. Just looking at his Vengeful Spirit now, she's got herself Staff of Wizardry. So 4 staff is actually pretty damn close. 1200 gold is saved up. There's no stat items for her. 1000 HP is not the best. But what's the reason here that you're going for 4 staff instead of Ether Lens on your Venge?
I think with the 4 staff, there are some areas where you're more flexible. Like the PL, for instance. Like Venge has nothing to do against the PL, right? Once PL's on her, she can't really do much. And she can, with the Nader Lens, I mean, that doesn't really help you survive against PL. 4 staff kind of lets you at least like push yourself uphill. The PL might chase you with the doppelganger, but that still means you're creating some space in the fights. Whereas if you don't have this kind of option, PL, the heroes like PL are just gonna kill you without committing anything. You're not really taking away any resource from like the MVP. It also lets you push people out of Sprout. I don't know. I could see Netherlands being okay this game as well, but the Force F is fine. Curious that he didn't really buy the recipe. It's like one of those things that March used to be really strict about. You know, buy your items. You know, spend your gold on time.
But yeah, I mean, you look at it, he's got 667 unreliable gold. He's got enough money
Dyer's
to
middle tower
buy
is
up
under
that.
attack.
Well, he's almost got enough to buy up the recipe with just unreliable gold. Zaki, he's holding on to money. Money wasted if he dies in the next couple of minutes. The bottom lane, as well as MP, are making the most of this. Side lanes are being pushed in by MVP Phoenix. Well, Warriors Gaming, you know, there's a tier 2 they've just taken. They're still sticking around here and not defending their other sides. They're gonna try and for a fight.
I don't think they're too actively looking for a fight. Maybe the Aegis is telling them to do dangerous things. I think both teams can benefit a lot from picking up a gem right now. And Dubu, why were you?
He was pushing.
Oh, he putting a ward.
I mean, him and Lion and Juggernaut were both down here pushing this lane, and I think Dubu just wanted to stick around for one more wave, expecting the rest of Warriors Gaming to maybe move themselves up the top. One pushed out. Forever. Cliff Jungle and Furion.
Radiant's middle tower
It's so
is under
unfortunate that
attack.
he took all that time, he took that risk of ward, and now Slark is like, hey, there's a ward here because of his passive. It's like, it's so tragic. He sacrificed himself for the greater good of the team, but Slark's denying it. That ward's gonna be de-warded ASAP.
And there we go. Who's straight in there with a sentry ward. He's gone actually into the blink dagger, so Vlad's buckler blink. This maybe helps him out getting these dooms onto targets, because we've already seen the strength of the swap into doom, swaps into stuns. They've been utilizing this to great effect, honestly, between Zaki and Arfu. Banana, level 16 Invoker. He's got his boot to travel now. The Aegis does expire though. Don't have that fallback mechanism. Where Invoker starts to become a little bit stronger, you know, he's got effectively 3 points with Wex, so the tornadoes get a little bit longer. He can start thinking about Tornado EMP with the Meteor and Deafening Blast, so his kind of 2-spell combo, there we go, Tornado, already built up. With 2-spell combo basically, starts changing into, you know, the 6-spell string of spells. Tornado EMP, Meteor, Deafening Blast, as well as the Ice Wall, Cold Snap, Force Spirits. It's really level 16, 17 with the Aghanim Scepter, where you see the real strength of the Invoker. As EMP's thrown out, going to be dodged out by the Doppelganger of QO.
Meanwhile, at bottom,
Oh yeah, look at that. With the Juggernaut as well, this is the trade-off here. 5 heroes from Warriors Gaming are mid. They get the Doom onto QO, the stun, swap back. QO, he's being dropped low and he'll get taken out without a buyback available. This Phantom Lancer is in a ton of trouble. But Warriors Gaming, they're keeping back to try and defend their racks in bottom lane. They'll go for the trade-off here, it looks like.
Oh,
melee rack, Dubu's dead towards the mid. He'll have to buy back here if he wants to try and defend this melee, but it's going to be down at bottom lane where the battle continues. They just probably killed the Darks here, but they're not getting the racks just yet. The TP from Sparky come in to try and kill the Juggernaut, but racks is still standing. And Warriors Gaming switch down to his bottom lane to look for the tier 3.
And they've probably made the call that Juggernaut does not have Omni Slashes. That's why they are so...
Oh, but the TP and
unafraid.
MP, BKB's up and Arfu's dead. The Ice Wall's down to stop the advance here and slows down this aggression from MVP with a Meteor, with the Tornado, with all the Forge Spirits and that. Invoker kills off for F. Ghostwalk TP's out. And MVP Phoenix, they pay for their insolence. They lose a full lane mid, a tier 3 at bottom. They lose a bunch of their key heroes.
Just better execution from Warriors Gaming. I could see the mindset of Phoenix. They thought, I mean, they have basically when you have 2 heroes against undefended racks, it's gonna push faster than 5 heroes against 3 people, depending however weak that might be. That's kind of the general concept. However, they got played again by the Vent swap into Doom. I mean, I guess Q might have to pick Nanta so he doesn't keep dying to that.
Alright, It's a difficult one, honestly. I mean, this time around it was just the straight doom. He got stunned up, doomed up, and then swapped back afterwards.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I was watching bottom and mid, and then I kind of like when I got back to mid, saw Kyo doomed. So I assumed that he got doomed by the swap into combo, but Warriors Gaming definitely in a really good position now. Before they went high ground, I kind of was curious because Slark was so close to Scotty. He had money for Ultimate Orb and some change. So all he had to do was like farm maybe like 2 cycles of jungles. And then he would have had the Scotty before going high ground, but I guess they were really confident. It's more about the timings. It's not about your items, which I can definitely agree with. I'm more of a fan of doing things when the timing is right, not when you have the items for it. But given that they were pretty confident.
Oh, MP. He's still going to get doomed up through the Blade Fury and swap back as well. Going to get this pounce down onto him, but with a cold snap and sunstrike, MP is cleared up so easily. He does have a buyback available, but Finger of Death back in. The Greaves keep them all up and running, and the Juggernaut wants to try and return the fight. Kyo is manning up in the middle of this. In the thick of things, Kyo, he's burning through all of the Break. The Death Advance pushes him back with the Ice Wall and the Wall of Replica. Both placed so perfectly. He's burnt through by the EMP. But MVP Phoenix, they've got 4F down on the bottom lane who will sprout and TP himself up the top. And they're not going to be able to stop him from doing this, while the rest of them move into the Roach Pit. And Warriors Gaming this time, they throw out all of their spells and their big combos, but they do not execute well enough to defeat MVP in a team fight.
That was actually such a close escape by Nature's Prophet too. I think Bench could have terrored into forward staff stun. That was a dead Nature's Prophet potentially. He does have BKB, but really treading on thin ice there. Oh, nice vacuum.
Hero has a doppelganger.
These heroes can both get out of it, unfortunately.
Furion has a TP. The Sunstrike threw into the pit again. Warriors Gaming, I don't know.
They're just too late. They have to deal with the fact that they weren't there.
They want to go in and try and steal it. And Phantom Lance to get the kill on the Roshan, but the only slash back on the Dubu. The Lotus Orb will have the smart to kill off the Lion. And now they send back into the Dark Sphere. Kyo burns through all of his HP and his mana, but Arjun, he's stuck in his Sprout with a turret of 4F on the high ground. They're trying to battle through it all. And Kyo definitely blasted up. He's got a double counter in 4 seconds, but it's not enough. The Aegis will bring him back to life in a couple of seconds' time. But Zaki nearly gets himself on top of that Nature's Prophet, while Warriors Gaming, they kill them all off again. This Radiant team is ravaging through MVP's line.
And they're gonna go straight for the bottom racks. The mid keeps pushed in. That's really unfortunate. They have the relic on Slug, so he's gonna do a lot of damage. He has 15 stacks, so I mean, what can they do about this? The Nature's Prophet is stuck at bottom. Not sure what to do. Are they gonna actually go for a throw here?
Yeah, look, well, they know the Juggernaut has no buyback. He bought back in the previous fight, and
they are doing so much damage to the towers. Holy crap!
And Phantom Lancer bought himself up to full heart, so they're kind of guessing. Well, he spent all that money. Now he doesn't have a buyback either. They're taking down tier 4s, and Warriors Gaming looks like they might be able to take the game number 1. This best of 3 looks like it might just be over. 37 minutes in, and MVP Phoenix, they tap out. They say GG. Warriors Gaming, an unknown quantity here in this qualifier, defeat MVP Phoenix in game number 1.
Very impressive from Warriors Gaming. I think, yeah, these guys definitely feel comfortable playing the game right now. I guess a lot of teams going against Phoenix and having seen what Phoenix were capable of on like tournaments like Dota Pit and the Shanghai Majors, they might have not